Yeah, I know, my last video was also a summer camp video. But when I was a kid, these camps were pretty freaking crazy, so give me a break already. Alright, so this began when our parents signed my brother and me up for a golf camp nearby. And I thought, okay, cool, new sport, haven't tried this one, let's give it a shot. So on the first day, we made it to the course that held the camp. It was pretty small for a golf course, only like 3 holes to choose from, all of them pretty narrow ones too. And the nice part about this course was that it was privately owned, so we didn't have to worry about any pro golfers just showing up and destroying us.
Nice shot! Hole in one!
So when we got there on the first day, the instructors had a little meeting to begin the camp so we could kind of get to know each other. There were 3 instructors there. The first one I'll call Chuck. Chuck was pretty good with kids, but maybe trying a little too hard at it, because he acted a little over the top at times. Like he was the type who'd say,
"Hey kids, do you want to have some fun?"
The second instructor I will call, Jack. Now Jack was a freaking massive guy. Like he was at least 6 feet 8 inches tall and weighed at least 250 pounds. I didn't get very good vibes from him. It didn't really seem like he wanted to be there. And he also talked really loudly around the other students, which felt kind of intimidating along with his intimidating stature. The last instructor I will call Madison. Now Madison was a little better than Jack in the way that she didn't shout all the time, but she didn't look like she wanted to be there either. They separated us into groups based on our golf experience. So the pros went with Chuck. The intermediates, the poor intermediates, they had to go with Jack. And we, the beginners, went with Madison. We really didn't do anything that notable on the first day. Basically just normal golf stuff. But the next day, things started getting a little more interesting. When we got to the course in the morning, by the way, something I didn't mention earlier was that this camp started at 6 in the freaking morning. Like that's totally normal if you're an early bird, but for me, I got there and felt like a zombie. I was just exhausted. But anyway, yeah, we got there on the second day, and Madison wasn't there. In fact, she didn't come back for the rest of the week. I guess she only had to work 1 day or something. So in place of her was the director of golf operations, who I will call Ethan because I think that's a cool name. Now even though Ethan was basically top dog at this facility, he was a great teacher. Super laid back, and good with kids, but not over the top like Chuck. He was also hilarious. Like sometimes he just went off on a rant totally unrelated to golf. "Hey guys, look, there's a lizard. Have you guys ever caught a lizard before?" No. Man, you guys have it so good with these iPads and video games. When I was a kid, I had to get really creative to entertain myself. I actually taught myself how to catch lizards by making a little loop out of grass and catching the lizards by the tail or neck. "Here, you guys want to see? Come on, I'll show you." And then he proceeded to pick a large piece of grass, tie it into a loop, and try to catch some poor lizard. This is kind of random, but later on in the week, we were using the driving range to practice hitting the ball, and Ethan had to leave us by ourselves for a few minutes. But before he did, he was like, "Don't do anything stupid, alright?" He told us that. So while he was gone, we were just swinging away, nothing crazy happening, but then a guy in a golf cart was about to drive across the driving range. So we all stopped swinging so the guy could drive across, but apparently one kid thought he was all that and figured, "Oh, I can swing again while the guy's crossing. It's not like I'm gonna hit him or anything, haha." So he did just that. He swung again, and guess what happened? He shanked the ball and nearly hit the guy in the golf cart. And in reaction to that, the golf cart guy was livid with that kid and started shouting in some language I didn't recognize. Surprisingly, the golf cart guy didn't tell on that kid, but just judging by the look on the kid's face after he did that, he had learned his lesson. And finally, we reached the last day of the week, but this time we weren't going to do the usual stuff. Today we were going to a public golf course to test our skills and see if we were any better than when we first got there. We didn't really play golf. Instead, we did this thing they called scramble, where each person would swing from a certain point, and the ball that went the farthest would be the one we would swing from on the next attempt. Once again, we were separated into groups. But for some reason, instead of being assigned to Ethan, Jack was the one that was assigned with us. And I just thought, seriously? This guy? Sheesh, this day is not off to a good start. And the next hour wasn't any better. I was playing horribly. I could not get a single accurate shot. In fact, there was one shot that was so bad that it flew off the course and went out of our view, headed straight for a nearby apartment complex. And the way Jack reacted didn't help the situation.
"Well, we can only hope you didn't break any windows."
Like, thanks a lot, dude. That really makes me feel better. And finally, we made it to the last hole. At this point, I just wanted to get this over with and go home. I was really frustrated and not having any fun at all. So I got up to the tee and swung away. And then, something crazy happened. I hit the ball cleanly. It actually went super far, just in front of the green. And that shot was the best one of the turn. So we all advanced to that spot. I was the first one to go again, since I hit the last one, and I chipped the ball onto the green within feet of the hole. That shot was also the closest to the hole. So I had a chance to put it in from about 15 feet out. And I hit the ball. At first it looked like it was going to miss to the right. But as it got closer to the hole, it slowly curved to the left. And just when it looked like it was going to stop, it fell into the hole. And everyone went crazy. Even Jack looked surprised. I honestly don't know how that happened. I went from not being able to hit a stationary ball to knowing how to hit it perfectly. After everyone finished golfing, we all went to a small cafe that was part of the golf course. And I guess they offered select items on the menu for free if you played a round of golf just before you got there. So the instructors were like, only get the free stuff unless you brought money. Which, I mean, really? None of us brought any money with us. This is a freaking golf camp. Why would we bring money? Wow, I got a video done in less than 2 freaking months? That's a pretty cool accomplishment. Also, thanks so much for 100 subscribers. And 1,000 views on my last video? Like, what?